We have the special program of the Advocates Corner with Clark Benya. We in this country are in a state of emergency. COVID-19 has really hit a lot of us in a very horrible way. The numbers are astonishing. The final numbers that I received in the world, 200,000 with 8,000 dead. Nationally, 2,064 with 112 dead. In New York City alone, and the numbers are changing rapidly, we have 923 cases with 10 deaths. We're here to discuss the construction workers. Who is looking out for them? We have two folks that are professionals and leaders in their own right. Brian Sampson, the president of ABC for the Empire State, and our friend Anthony Rinaldi from the Rinaldi Group, a general contractor in New York City. They're going to join us via telephone, and we're coming right back. COVID-19 breaking news.
I'm Dr. Howard Zucker, New York State's Health Commissioner. There's no doubt the spread of novel coronavirus is a major public health challenge. Most of us can avoid illness by washing our hands often and avoiding people who are sick. But the elderly and people with existing health conditions should also avoid crowded places and people who are ill. We're working 24/7 on this evolving situation, so stay informed and don't be misled by rumors and false information. And most of all, please stay well.
On this special program today, dealing with COVID-19, dealing with our brothers and sisters in the construction industry, and dealing with human beings as a whole, we want to address what's going on. We want to engage our construction men and women, our merit shop workers, and who better than to open up the program today is our friend, our leader, Brian Sampson, the president of ABC Empire State. Mr. Sampson, how are you, sir?
Hey, Clark. It's great to be with you. It's great to be on the show. I'm sorry that social distancing keeps us apart, but we all have to do our specific piece in this to kind of soften that curve. So I'm happy to be on the show.
Thank you, Brian. It's an honor to have you on, and thank you for taking the time to address the issue. Let's begin by asking you. It would be horrible if I wouldn't ask. How are you and the family? How are you guys holding up?
Listen, we're wonderful. We appreciate the concern. I think, like every other family that's watching this, everybody's trying to figure some things out. But as I say to my wife and my kids, our job is to be calm, is to just evaluate the information that's out there, and where we can, we're ordering dine-out food to support our local businesses and just hunkering down. I think it's important for everybody to understand that this virus is real. It is here. There are things we can all do to dampen its impact, and I think that's what we have to do as an industry and as individuals.
As a message to the men and women that are out there working at these construction sites, and they're very important to our city as a whole and our state as a whole, what message do you have for them as we move forward with this crisis in our nation?
Clark, first and foremost, I think we have to thank our public servants, the police, the fire, the doctors, the nurses, our municipal friends who are doing what they can to treat people and make sure that as much of our normal life as possible continues. But the construction industry has a role to play in that as well. We are an essential service. The governor listed us yesterday as an essential service. We're thankful for him for having done that. There are some things that we as an industry need to do. I'm I'm so pleased to hear from my members that they are trying to figure out how to balance their workforce, maybe having people work different shifts. Some people are working a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every other day. The others are working the additional days. Our members have made sure that social distancing is on the construction sites. They're ensuring that the sites are wiped down and cleaned. They're at the gates with temporal scanners taking people's temperatures. If you have a fever, they're sending people home. I'm so pleased. But for the individual workers, they are building our future today. Whether that's housing, whether that's roads, bridges, sewers, all the things that we're going to need, they're out there, and they're putting themselves on the line as well, and they need to be thanked. The construction industry is such a vital component of the economy, and we're thankful the governor did the right thing, and we're thankful for the workers to continue to be out there every day.
Outstanding. Well, thank you, Governor Cuomo. We understand that by looking at news reports that the governor and is against it. The mayor wants to have a complete shutdown. What's your stance on that, Brian?
Well, look, I think there's different politics that go around. I know there's some thought that the mayor may want to figure out how to lessen the amount of construction that's going on, and our advice would be don't. You need affordable housing. You need the service sector of our industry. If somebody's furnace breaks, it needs to be repaired. If their plumbing backs up, it needs to be repaired. The MTA is going to have issues. They need to get repaired. We need to build more affordable housing. So I would hope that while some cities like Boston have shut down, I think the governor's executive orders made it pretty clear that construction is essential and construction should continue. We hope that that's the case. We're advocating for that to be the case. It's just important for people to understand that while you walk by a construction site and you see those workers, what you don't see are the 5 to 6 other workers back in the office that are being supported by that project. So yes, the individual frontline workers you see, but back in the office, there are people on an administrative role, there are people in an accounting role, there are project managers, estimators. There's just a whole lot of people that are supported by this industry. If you look at New York City and the surrounding area, you've got about 200,000 construction workers. That means there's somewhere between 1 million and 1.2 million other people behind them.
Wow.
Benefiting from the growth of this industry. So before we kind of cut the knees out, we need to understand the impact. And at the end, you don't want to create a public health crisis by limiting the amount of construction that can get done because it's a vital, essential service.
Understood, 110%. I'm also aware, I've seen a lot of great letters being written around and sent around in regards to the prevailing wage issue up in Albany. Just my sense as a former veteran, when there's a crisis, you have to realign yourself. Is the prevailing wage discussion, should that even be out there at this point in time?
Yeah, Clark, it boggles my mind that in the current state that we're in and the crisis that's at our doorstep, and the crisis that's going to be here for a while longer, that politics would intercede itself, and the concept of prevailing wage on private work is still in the budget negotiations. So it boggles my mind that we're doing that, but it is real. There are some people that believe that if a project is being supported by taxpayer money, it should be built using prevailing wage. Our argument is, prevailing wage can add up to 30% to the cost of the labor side of that project. We're already seeing projects across the state. We've asked our members. We've got a list now going of about 100 projects across the state with a total economic value of about $900 million that are either on hold or being slowed down and delayed because of what's going on with this coronavirus. Imagine you make that situation that much worse by telling a private owner that he or she needs to build and their labor force is going to cost them 30% more. They're just not going to do it. And the workers that you represent are the ones that are going to be the collateral damage in the 5 boroughs. So it's unfortunate. The conversation is going. It is real. We're thankful for you and the Construction Workforce Project and the effort that you're doing to help educate elected officials about how this will impact the minority workers that come from the boroughs.
Absolutely. Well, Brian, and I appreciate the thanks, but in this point in time, it's going to take all of us. It's really going to take all of us uniting to make a difference here. We are dealing in uncharted waters, and yourself and the other great folks, Upshackle, and all the other friends that are out there looking out for the men and women of the merit shop workforce. It's going to take all of us at this point in time to make a difference.
It will. Yesterday we were fortunate that about 30 different organizations signed on to a letter.
Outstanding letter, by the way, Brian. Outstanding letter.
Yeah, thank you. But made it very clear that the industry that is construction is a critical economic driver. And if we are to recover, and we will recover because we're Americans and failure is not an option for us, and in this industry, failure is certainly not something that anybody will let win. We will recover, but you don't want to dampen that recovery by placing a purely political piece of legislation as a barrier to that growth. So, we're thankful. We've got great partners. It's not just the construction industry, but it's chambers of commerce. It's
yes.
Small businesses. There's just so many people out there that are on the front lines of this issue, and we're grateful for them.
Well, Brian, I appreciate your time. I know that you must be overwhelmed with people trying to reach out to you to talk to you in this critical moment. You guys are God sent. God bless ABC. God bless your partners. And if anyone needs to reach you for whatever reason, can you please give us your website, or how can people contact you?
Yeah, so our website is abcnys.org. We're happy to field any interest, any inquiries. But our thanks goes to you, Clark, because without programs like the Advocates Corner, being out there and educating the people about the real issues and the real impact. Sometimes these bad legislation happens. But as I said earlier, yourself and the Construction Workforce Project and the Advocates Corner, you guys are doing great things. So please keep it up. And we're pleased to be warriors on the front line with you, and we'll continue to fight for the merit shop, and we'll continue to fight for free enterprise and the ability for contractors and owners to build the projects the way they want. It's not a anti-union stance. It's just people should have the freedom of choice to do things the way they want, and government shouldn't intercede in a positive or negative way. And that's what we fight for, and that's what we'll continue to fight for. And we're blessed to have you and your crew on our side. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian. This is your home, ABC. For those that have not been involved in the movement that ABC has really become a strong advocate for, join ABC. Go on their website. Brian Sampson, you're God sent. I appreciate your time. Stay well and stay healthy, sir.
Stay healthy, Clark. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Dr. Howard Zucker, New York State's Health Commissioner. There's no doubt the spread of novel coronavirus is a major public health challenge. Most of us can avoid illness by washing our hands often and avoiding people who are sick. But the elderly and people with existing health conditions should also avoid crowded places and people who are ill. We're working 24/7 on this evolving situation, so stay informed and don't be misled by rumors and false information. And most of all, please stay well.
President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, said that we are in a state of emergency. This is a war. And as we move forward, we can't forget anyone. We cannot leave anyone behind. As a veteran, you never leave anyone behind when you're at war. We are proud to have on the air with us right now Mr. Anthony Rinaldi from the Rinaldi Group. He's a general contractor, a friend, a leader in our community. Sir, thank you so much for taking time to join us.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, how are you physically? How is the family? How's the health going?
Thank God. Everybody is doing well. I have a 93-year-old mom who,
God bless her.
Who actually lives with us, and I have 3 children and a full household, and thank God everyone is doing well and everyone is healthy.
Outstanding. Our prayers are with everyone, especially you and your family, sir.
Thank you.
Anthony, this is a very difficult time, and we spoke a little bit earlier. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are going through as far as your workers and trying to keep your head above water, if you will.
Well, you know, we're literally fighting for our lives on multiple fronts, and you know, one of the biggest fronts is our employment. You know, we're in the construction business. I'm a builder. You know, we have to go to work and build the buildings that we build, and that's how we get paid. We are not in a business that can work from home. We can't work on our laptops or our iPads. We physically have to go to the job sites and build the buildings that people live in, that people are taught in, the hospitals that we're cared for in, and the retail and big box and grocery stores from which we get our food and our supplies. So unless we go to work and build those structures and those buildings, we can't get paid. And being a small business as we are, we have at any time in New York City, we have 10 to 12 projects going on at any time. Right now we have about 12 active projects going on, and those projects employ over 1,000 workers. And I'm just one small business. I have dozens and dozens of colleagues that employ tens, if not hundreds of thousands of employees and workers citywide. And, you know, if we are to shut down all of construction in New York City, all of those workers are out of work, as am I. And we don't get paid. And if we don't get paid, we can't pay our employees. And it's a cascading effect that I hope our politicians are considering the full weight of it.
Right. I've noticed that there's a lot of political games, if you will, that's going on, because even the issue of the prevailing wage, even having that still on the table at a moment in time that our world is in crisis, that's a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion. Do you agree?
It really is, and you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, under such a time, politics still prevail, and it's mind-boggling to me. You know, being a 55-year-old man, you know, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a small business, and you know, most of the time we concentrate on big picture things, and if ever there was a time in our nation's history, now is the time that we should be concentrating on big picture things, and unfortunately we're not, and we're being distracted by politics.
Are your, obviously they would be, but have your employees, any of them come up to you and say, you know, sir, what are we going to do?
Listen, it's been an ongoing, you know, it's been an ongoing event. Virtually every morning I send out notices to our employees and our craft workers who are on the jobs, who are asking us every day. You know, they're hearing different things that are coming on the news and on the radio and on you know, TV. So we are trying to stay out in front as best we can. You know, I'm involved in the Associated Builders and Contractors, which is one of the largest merit shop contractor associations in America with 22,000 company members nationwide from LA to New York City. And we try to stay politically attuned with our legislators and knowing what's going on. And I try to report that not only to our employees and our workers on the jobs, but to our owners as well, our developers and our clients who finance these buildings with insurance and with banks and local financial institutions, and all of them, from the workers to the developers to the bankers and the insurance carriers, they're all concerned every day. They're contacting me as to what's today's current events and what's going on. And we try to stay in front. We try to post, updates. Just this morning, I've had somewhat of a roller coaster ride, posting an update on the governor's ruling and definition of what an essential service is, and including construction in that essential service. And within hours of that press release, we find out that the mayor is looking to rally the Department of Buildings to consider construction not an essential service, and to shut down all the construction in New York City.
And that Anthony, would be devastating. That would be devastating to the men and women that are out there trying to put food on their tables for their families.
It absolutely would. And as I said to you, it's going to have a cascading effect that I don't know if the mayor is actually giving consideration to it. Because, as I said to you, I can't get paid from my developers and I can't get paid from my clients unless I go to work, unless my workers go to work and we build the buildings. So when they're not at work, we're not going to be able to build. We're not going to be able to get paid. I'm not going to be able to get paid. I'm a small business. I'm not going to be able to pay my workers if they have to stay home and not come to work if I'm not getting paid. Now you have unemployment. Now those workers potentially lose their benefits and their health insurance under a crisis right now that we're battling a virus, the likes I haven't seen in my lifetime.
Neither
in the meantime, this type of event can put workers and employees out of work, threaten their health benefits during a time when we need them the most.
Absolutely, absolutely. In a few seconds that we have left, Anthony Rinaldi, once again from the Rinaldi Group, Mayor's listening. What would be a few words from you to him on this issue?
Well, since World War II, construction has been considered an essential service. We not only, build the buildings that we live in, the schools that we're taught in, the hospitals that we're cared for in, and the retail big box and grocery stores where we get our food and our supplies, but we also maintain the buildings. It's plumbers and steam fitters and HVAC technicians and electricians that maintain the heat and cooling in our buildings, the gas and the power and the light and the electric and the water and the sanitation. So I hope, Mr. Mayor, you really give true consideration for this decision that you're contemplating right now.
Well, Mr. Rinaldi, I wish you and your team and your family the best. Let's continue to communicate. Let's continue to put the word out there. You're a leader in this industry, and you're God sent. Continued success, sir, and thank you for all you do for the men and women in the Merit Shop workforce.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
God bless, sir.
Likewise.
I'm Dr. Howard Zucker, New York State's Health Commissioner. There's no doubt the spread of novel coronavirus is a major public health challenge. Most of us can avoid illness by washing our hands often and avoiding people who are sick. But the elderly and people with existing health conditions should also avoid crowded places and people who are ill. We're working 24/7 on this evolving situation, so stay informed and don't be misled by rumors and false information. And most of all, please stay well.
It's going to take all of us to make a difference. This is critical state of affairs in our city, our state, our country. Let us put politics to the side. Let us continue to help those and listen to those and spread the word for those that are assisting us along this state of emergency. President Donald Trump, joined by Vice President Pence, made a request for anyone that has the 95 masks, the R95 masks, to donate them to the hospitals, to the first responders, to those that are in direct contact, to the firefighters. It's going to take all of us, folks. It's going to take all of us to make a difference. We will get over this. I know we will, but we can only get over this if we work together. I want to thank our first responders, our firefighters, our police officers, our nurses and doctors. Thank you all. We're going to get over this. Let's put politics to the side. We'll get back to that once we beat this. We'll do it together. Thank you so much. I'm Clark Benya for the Advocates Corner, always reminding you at this point, take care of yourself. More importantly, let's take care of each other.